Mnangagwa agrees to step down for Vice President Chiwenga as CAB3 agenda collapses in a historic development that marks the definitive end of the 23rd term extension era. President Emerson Mnangagwa has reportedly capitulated to intense pressure from the military deep state and agreed to step down at the end of his constitutional term to clear the path for a Vice President Constantino Chiwenga presidency. The stunning political retreat follows months of bitter, low-intensity warfare within the ruling ZANU-PF establishment over Constitutional Amendment Bill No. 3, CAB3, the legislative maneuver which aimed to replace popular presidential elections with a parliamentary vote and extend term limits to 2030, has effectively been abandoned after triggering an unmanageable mutiny within the state security and legislative apparatus. The pre-CAB farm fallout and institutional blockade. According to deep state intelligence briefs, the final nails in the coffin of the 23rd agenda were driven during a tense, closed-the-door weekend meeting at Mnangagwa's private pre-CAB farm in Kwekwe, followed by an organized revolt on the floor of parliament. Faced with an uncompromising ultimatum from active serving and retired military commanders, who demanded the bill either be discarded or subjected to a highly volatile national referendum, Mnangagwa's executive leverage completely evaporated. The pressure intensified further when a powerful coalition of younger ruling party and opposition members of parliament broke ranks to openly mobilize behind Chiwenga, destroying any hope of achieving the two-thirds legislative majority required to force the amendment through. The architectural pillars of the 2030 project have completely collapsed, a regional security analyst noted. When you lose the barracks, the war veterans, and the rising generation of your own parliamentary caucus simultaneously, stepping down is no longer a political choice. It is an institutional directive. Mapping the post-Mnangagwa dispensation, with the president's capitulation now out in the open, the political focus in Harare has shifted entirely to managing the mechanics of a peaceful executive transition ahead of the next scheduled election cycle. The abandonment of CAB3 preserves the foundational tenets of the 2013 Constitution, preventing a dangerous rewriting of presidential term limits. Insiders reported that backroom negotiations are now centering on guaranteeing immunity and protecting the extensive business assets of the first family's inner circle in exchange for a frictionless handoff of power to the Chiwenga-aligned military faction. The collapse of the bill also brings temporary relief to a highly anxious civil service and a fractured legislature, both of which had been subjected to intense intimidation, parallel security monitoring, and anonymous death threats by desperate regime enforcers trying to salvage the 2030 campaign. A tectonic shift in Zimbabwe's history. Political observers characterize Mnangagwa's agreement to step down as a watershed moment in modern Zimbabwean history, mirroring the seismic institutional corrections of November 2017. By failing to heed the warnings of the liberation struggle veterans and trying to build a parallel dynastic power base around his immediate family, Mnangagwa inadvertently unified competing factions within the deep state. The security architecture has once again demonstrated its role as the ultimate arbiter of state power in Zimbabwe, drawing a hard line against constitutional manipulation. As Harare prepares for the formal declaration of the transition roadmap, the atmosphere in the capital is a mix of cautious relief and high anticipation. The 23rd agenda is officially dead, and the era of Chiwenga transition has begun. Mure Zimbabwe, we are watching the space. So, ndinu wenyu pano Super Galo, pamzinda wa vanhu. Stay tuned. Peace.